or someone would ask me the other day, she's like, what are you going to do when you actually find someone really similar to you? Would you get along? I was like, gosh, no way. Welcome to today's episode, everybody. So we've got a pretty special guest on the show today. So I want to introduce everyone to Stef Piper, the lady behind Stef Piper Training, otherwise known as SPT. So Steph, first of all, how do you psych yourself up before a big day?
This is a hard one because I don't actually have like a routine of like psyching myself up. Because for me, like it's pretty early start, so I pretty much just go straight into it. To my usual coffee, music in the car, kind of things like that. But honestly, like I was kind of thinking about this, and a lot of it's to do with like I've got a bunch of really cool people that I train, so you kind of build lots of friendships with those people. So that's kind of what pumps me up, is that I'm going in to see like my friends for the day rather than like my clients. So that kind of like pumps me up a little bit.
You got to bring the energy so that they're all feeling it too.
Yeah, exactly. And like they help me do that. So I guess that's what kind of like, I guess you could say, psychs me up for training and going to work.
Do you find it hard sometimes in the mornings to get out of bed and stuff, or are you just straight to it?
Look, it's been a process. Like I'm definitely not a natural early riser. I could sleep until 10 a.m. every day. But over the past like couple of years with, 6 a.m. starts, I'm slowly, I'm more into the routine now. So it's not as painful now, but if I have a good routine of throughout the week, I'm fine. If I, have a, go out on the weekend or something like that during the week, I'm a bit screwed there. So yeah.
It's amazing how much, one step out of the normal pattern can throw you out. Like it takes me a few days to roll back into my normal routine. If, a Saturday night winds up being a little bit bigger than I thought it might be, by Wednesday, I might finally be feeling good again.
Yeah. Like I think it was Sunday night, I was up till early hours of the morning, just doing like last minute work things that I had to do. And then today I'll tell you, I was struggling a little bit. So yeah.
So in terms of the journey from going from an idea to SPT becoming your career, it's your business now. You've obviously had to come over, a few big barriers along the way. And what's been one of the main ones that you've had to, get over to get to where you are now?
Honestly, I just feel like there's going to be a lot more barriers to come. So I just feel like I was saying at the before, I feel like, this is like pretty early days for me. So I don't know, it's hard to like put this down to like one big thing. It's kind of like it's been a lot harder than a lot more work than I expected. Like it is very rewarding, but it is very exhausting at the same time. So
what sort of stuff like has been hard, or that you expected to be easy, or that you just didn't expect? What sort of stuff has come at you?
So I think just like the workload, like the doing everything on my own. So then over time, I realized that I kind of needed a bit of help. So asking other people to help me out, family and friends have been really supportive. So, and then, obviously having, being able to hire someone just to help me out with like the workload and the hours. I think that was the biggest part for me, is the hours. There's only so much, so many hours in a day, so much someone can work. So I think, yeah, at this moment, that was probably the hardest task, is the hours and the workload. But yeah, like I said, asking people for assistance and, getting someone to work for me has really helped me with that. And I feel like I can give a better service.
Did you find it hard? Yeah. Did you find it hard to ask for people to help you? Or did that come naturally to you?
Actually, people came to me, actually.
People came to you?
Like, I feel like I had a lot of supportive family and friends who didn't hesitate, and they're still very supportive in helping me and supporting me. So yeah, actually, they've just jumped right on board with me. I feel like in some ways, like I'm not doing this by myself. I'm like doing it with a bunch of people in my life. So yeah, it's pretty good.
It can be so crucial to have that support network there. Like, you know, because running your own business comes with its own emotional load too. And, you know, Leroy's been my little emotional cushion for a while. And I'm sure you'd have someone doing a similar role to that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in terms of why you chose to actually create SPT as opposed to, I guess, going with the slightly safer option of working for somebody else, was there any main factor that made you want to do your own thing as opposed to someone else's thing?
So I like always worked as a trainer in another gym, and I loved it there. But I was spending lots of hours indoors, and I always knew that sometime in the future, I wanted to run my own business, not work for another brand. I wanted to work for my own brand. And surprisingly enough, through COVID, the opportunity just arose. So I just took it. Like I didn't really think twice. I thought I either go hard now or I don't do it ever. And so it was more just a future plan came early. And so an opportunity came up and I just took it and I just ran with it. And now I'm still trying to go.
That's awesome. What do you remember the feeling when you really crossed that path? You're like, all right, I'm going to do this. Do you remember how you felt?
Yeah, it was just like, through like that COVID lockdown period, I had a lot of time. I went from working 40, 50-hour weeks plus to, under 10 hours. And so I used it as a lot of time to just recharge, relax, enjoy having forced time off. And I think having that like recharge moment really made me go hard, because when that opportunity came up, I think I was like ready to do it. Whereas in the past, I've been maybe a bit, exhausted, not mentally ready. I think that break during lockdown really gave me a good like mental space to say, okay, this is what I'm going to work on really hard for the next, couple of months, years to come, and hopefully for the rest of my working life. So yeah.
Well, congratulations. You've done such a brave thing. It's such a bold step, especially in such uncertain times. Yeah, you saw the opportunity, you just grabbed it, and look at where it's taking you to now.
Oh, thanks. Like I said, yeah, there's still a lot more things that I want to do and that I want to achieve. I feel like this is very early days for me, but it's just growing day by day, and I just want to keep working on it. So yeah.
So what's the next little thing you want to try and actually work on and try and improve next in terms of business wise?
Well, obviously I want to grow to become bigger and better and give even just small things like better service for, all my clients that come in to see me. Things like we've just started a 6-week challenge that anybody can do. So it just gives people that extra push and things to work on in our studio and also outside of our studio. And yeah, with more growth, other opportunities will arise. We'll see when that day comes.
So in terms of actually being able to prepare yourself for the hard times, because, inevitably running your own business, there's going to be challenges along the way. And, I know me and Leroy have a few things that we like to do in terms of being able to be ready to cope with the next little hurdle. Is there anything that you like to do to be able to deal with the next little challenge that comes along that you don't know is coming?
Yeah. What I've found is that during this time when things become hard, I found that it's like a constant cycle and it just keeps repeating. things will be going okay. Things will go really, really well and I'm killing it. And then things will be awful. Nothing's going to work. And then we'll go back again. Things are going okay. I'm feeling, it's just, I've learned that like it's a constant circle. And I've learned that because there have been times where I've gone, oh my gosh, this is too hard. I don't know if I can do this anymore. But I just I have a strong set of goals that I want to achieve in my life. And that's what's kind of getting me through. So through those harder days, I just always think of those future goals that I want to achieve. And that's just what keeps me going. And then in the short term as well, knowing that that cycle will end and that it will happen again, it's kind of, I know what to expect. So yeah, I just can mentally prepare myself for, okay, I will feel a bit worse on these days. And then other days it'll be a lot better. And I just got to keep working. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you with that cycle. Even Sam and I have talked about this so many times. It's so assuring knowing that that cycle exists, because when you're in a rut, you're like, all right, this sucks right now, but you know, I'll come out of it and things will be better. And it's awesome that you've come to know that so early in your journey.
And
yeah, that was
just,
like, sorry.
just being aware of that means that you can, you know, when you are in those absolute ruts, you can at least hold on to those days knowing that, well, cool, like, you know, last week I had this day and it was the most amazing thing ever. And odds are tomorrow or the next couple of days is going to be the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah. When I realized that, it made it so much better, because if, you know, in the early days, if one little thing went bad, it was kind of like, you know, just tumbling down. Whereas now I feel like I just get stronger each time. I know that when I go through that little rut, I'll fix that and then I'll move on to the next thing. Yeah. So I know it's going to pass, really.
Have you learned any tough lessons, you think, yet? Like,
tough lessons.
Yeah. Has anything?
It's a hard question. I've definitely learned a lot about myself and my capacity of how hard I can work and how strong my friendship and like relationships are around me and how supportive people are around me. In terms of lessons, it's a hard one. I'll definitely have to think about that. I'm not too sure.
Think about it. Yeah.
I feel like it's like, it'll come to me in a couple of months, in a year, and I'll learn something amazing, hopefully.
I guess one lesson that I think me and Leroy have learned already is something that you mentioned before. And it was actually having a set of goals that you're always striving towards. And at least, you know, you always have that direction that you're trying to keep sight of. I know for me anyway, I like writing these things down. You know, it's only so good having them floating around in your head. Otherwise they get a bit confused. Do you have any particular way of keeping yourself aware and also aligned with the goals that you want to achieve?
I've always thought of writing things down and putting them down. I always use my iPhone notes a lot. I'll jot things down, I'll write things down, almost use it as sometimes a bit of a journal, but writing down those goals and then keeping them in my mind all the time is just really the thing that just keeps me going.
It can be so hard to do because like life can get so distracting, and like, you know, you can be the best worker there is, but you know, life's going to throw a spanner at you either way, and then you lose sight of everything that you want to try and achieve. And yeah, just, you know, being able to constantly remind yourself, you know, with, you know, flicking through your notes in your phone and your little journals, at least kind of keeps them around your headspace a bit more.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of things about manifesting as well. So writing things down and then being able to achieve them. So I've tried a bit of that, slowly working. So yeah.
And how do you empower your clients? Because I know Ryan. I use Ryan as an example. We've had many fitness journeys, and like, I've never seen him going so hard with fitness right now. It's very, very admirable. What have you done?
Yeah, it is.
I've tried with him and failed twice. I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, And I know I've definitely dragged Ryan to the gym for a long period of time. And I don't know if my approach was right or wrong, but he keeps saying to get back to his dad bod. We're really giving Ryan a grilling now, but he's you've been the catalyst for him actually becoming a really, really healthy version of himself.
Yeah, he's doing really, really well. There's two things. First, maybe three things. So first thing that I think is most importantly, if the person's ready. So someone has to be ready to change. So maybe in the past, Sam, like when you tried, like you were really ready to do those things, but maybe he wasn't. And everyone's going to go through these things in life. So that was something that I really learned with my job and my work, is that not everyone is ready all the time to put in all the commitment and all the hard work. So that's the first one. The other two things is, consistency and training with people. So it becomes more of like a social thing. So I think those two things are super important. And I think that's what SPT provides, because you can do groups, class settings, or working with a trainer face to face. So it makes it a lot less hard, a lot less on yourself, and you're kind of working with a group of people to, keep empowered with your goals and keep reminded with your goals, and so that you can achieve them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Just rambling.
And those group classes, they look so fun. Everyone's always got a bright smile on their face, whether it's indoors or outdoors. It's almost like you're getting distracted from what can be a really hard session by having your friends and other people who are also grinding really hard away. It's a hard thing to create, but you seem to do it quite well.
Like I said before, these clients become my friends. So yeah, I don't look at them as clients or members of a gym. It's like, we go to coffee after. Sometimes we'll catch up, we'll have real conversations, not just, to do with gym all the time, so I know a lot about people's lives and how they're going. So, you build real friendships, and that's, I think, what helps as well. Not just with me, but people in the classes as well, finding new friends. And that's a big part. If the people that you're surrounded with are working on the same things, it makes it a lot easier. So if you can build friendships, build a bit of a community, it makes you feel like you're not alone doing all your hard work, working on your goals. Whereas if your family and friends don't necessarily want to do that, that's totally fine. They don't have to do it. But if you can find those people that are aligned with your goals, it really helps you to achieve them.
That's so true. I was actually discussing this with someone about exercise, and when you exercise so in like a social group, you release this like endorphins, just your natural release. But because you're doing it in a social group, you kind of get addicted to that sort of feeling, and you associate that feeling with that social group. So I think that also works really well in terms of training.
I always hear. Yeah.
One thing you mentioned before too, and I think it's really, really important, and it's been something I've struggled with to learn along the way. But I guess we use Ryan as another example. Was that internal, and was whether someone's ready to change. And I guess the best way I can describe it is whether or not they're having to be pushed by someone externally, or whether or not they're being pushed by something internally. And it's you get to watch people do it. You can, if you're the factor that's having to motivate them, having to get them up and get them to training, it's probably not going to stick. But then if you get a group of people who have that internal drive to be, I'm doing this for me. It's not anyone else that's getting me to do it. I'm going there because I want to have fun. I want to improve. Then you get that whole little supportive circle together, and then it sticks. They actually change some of their healthy habits and behaviors.
Yeah, definitely. I always refer to myself as, well, you're the builder, you're the one working, and I'm the one giving you the tools. So unless you're ready to work and unless you're ready to build, I can definitely help you out with that. But it's definitely a big internal drive as well. Like I said, that's why I'm here. I'm here to help as well. But then once that person really becomes mentally, internally ready, that's when they'll start to see a life change.
It sounds to me like, you know, when they're coming and seeing you, because you do take this approach of, you know, I'm here to help teach you how to get better. I'm not going to be the one that makes you get better. It's almost like people are coming to you, and after being able to attend some sessions, you know, they've actually learned something they can apply for their whole life. So for example,
Exactly.
you know, if all of a sudden everything was to stop tomorrow, they've actually changed their direction because you've been able to actually help impart knowledge on them, as opposed to just tell them to do something.
Yeah.
I think that's in healthcare, especially, there's a big missing link, and some trainers definitely don't do it. And, you know, I guess I see the difference that it makes in people's lives years down the track. There's people who have been taught how to train, and they go exceptionally well, as opposed to the people who have been told what to train, and they just do it for the sake of, oh, I guess I should be doing this. And, you know, it's a rare thing to come across in the personal training world.
Yeah, so it's definitely not short-term learning or, you know, fad diets or, you know, short-term exercises. It's about a lifestyle with me. Like, that's what I like to promote. Of course, we all have short-term goals, you know, fat loss goals, muscle goals, but it's more for the maintenance as well. You know, I want someone to maintain this for the rest of their life, not just 5 months of their life and then they're back to square one a year later. So definitely, yeah, big part.
That's awesome. And we're quite big on, you know, self-development, continued development. So what sort of tools, methods do you use to make sure you're continuing to develop yourself as a coach and a business owner?
So I've always made sure that I'm always studying something. So I did my, you know, bachelor's degree, and then I completed my personal training. And throughout my personal training, I've, you know, continually done study courses, weekend courses, you know, things like, you know, strength and conditioning or pre and postnatal nutrition course. So yeah, someone once told me, you know, a good trainer is someone who's continually learning and continually studying, because the fitness industry and the health industry, it's constantly changing. So you've got to keep up to date, and you've also got to keep your mind working. With personal training, you know, I'm not going to be an expert at everything, but I do want to know at least a bit of each different category so that I can help somebody or at least guide them in the right direction or the right people. Because generally as a trainer, I'm the front line of a lot of different, you know, health issues or mental issues. So I need to keep learning about all different kinds of things. So like I said, yeah, either I can help them or I can pass them on to someone who can further help them.
That's a really nice way to
Yeah.
be looking at it, like that mental aspect, especially because I'd imagine this year of all years, you would have probably a lot of your clients telling you some pretty heavy stuff, and it's quite important to be able to give them the right guidance for that, because they're looking at you for this guidance. So that's a really nice approach. I like that.
Thanks.
So that would be how you keep on learning. Would that be your best piece of advice to a young adult that's trying to do a similar thing? Would it be to try and find, you know, new courses or new bits of information you can learn? Or would you give a different piece of advice to, you know, a young adult that's trying to become the best version of themselves?
In terms of just with anything in life, or
and anything in life, any career, any particular set of goals they're trying to work towards?
Yeah. I would definitely say focus on the small steps, you know, small little things. So, you know, those low-hanging fruits is what it's called. Those things that are easy to reach, easy to achieve, and those small milestones become a larger milestone. So that's what I would say. Focus on the small things. So whether it's in relation to weight loss or, you know, studying or trying to achieve something, have that long-term goal, but see what are those smaller steps to achieve before that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's good. You got to always, look at the things close to you, grab those, and then you'll work to the larger goals without getting intimidated by, I've got to lose 30 kilos. It's more like, let's just lose 500 grams this week or something.
Yeah. Well, in relation to that, your goal might be to lose 30 kilos, but we're just going to focus on the small things. So you might sit down all day. I just want you to go for a walk each day. It's just the smallest thing, just a small change. And then next week, once you've achieved that goal, then next week work on the next little thing and the next little thing. And then over time, then you will achieve that 30 kilo weight loss, rather than at the beginning going, I need to lose 30 kilos. I need to lose 30 kilos.
Yeah.
And then next week, you're still telling yourself the same thing. So just focus on the things that you can achieve first and get those done.
It's so refreshing to hear, these ideas and principles coming out of your mouth, because I think there's a huge gap in terms of that being offered in the world of personal training at the moment. And, it can be easy to sell, the quick fix, to sell, the miracle results in 8 weeks, because that's what people seem to be after, because they don't really know that it's not sustainable. The 8-week program's good. Come 16 weeks, they might be back to where they were or worse. So it's so refreshing being able to hear these amazing things being laid on people, and just knowing that all the people that come and see you will be able to all achieve the same thing.
Yeah, well, thanks. It's been a long time learning, all those short-term fixes and things like that, those fad diets. I mean, some of them may work for a small percentile of people, but you can't say that one thing is going to work for everybody. So you just have to figure out what's going to work best for you. There's no one answer. Otherwise, that would be the $1 million diet or the $1 million workout, because then no one would be wanting to lose 5 more kilos or 3 more kilos, because it would be done. So yeah.
So I guess just continuing on that, in terms of there's no one golden rule, but if a young adult did come to you and was struggling with their physical fitness, what would be the one main step you get them to take first to start that journey?
It's very, actually quite a broad question, because it completely depends on that individual. When you ask me that question, a whole bunch of different clients pop up into my head that I've worked with, and I would give completely different answers to each and every one of them. Being able to show up to training is a start, or being able to even speak to a trainer or inquire with a trainer is a huge start. For other people, a huge start, for them might be, 4 or 5 days training a week. It really depends on the individual. So I can't really give a set answer for that. Because everyone is so different. Everyone's on different paths of their lives. So I can't really give a set answer.
Do you find that you're often having to tweak how you train people based on their personality? Is that something you do?
Yeah, definitely. So that's why, before I do start training someone regularly, I do meet with them. I do train them a couple of times. I do try and get to know them as best as possible. And when you're spending 45 minutes straight with the person, you get to know them pretty well, and you get to see how they move and learn a lot about their lives. So even from that first session to the second week, months down the track, you're continually learning about that person and continually adjusting for it to suit them, and also the different times of their lives and things like that.
Well, look, Steph, if someone around the North Shore was trying to, find you or get in contact with you, where can they find yourself and SPT training?
So, I have a website, Stef Piper personaltraining.com. So that's where all my contact details are. And I'm located in Chatswood. So yeah.
There you go.
That's it really.
And you said you were running a 6-week challenge. Is that started, or is that going to start soon?
Yeah, that started yesterday. So it goes for 6 weeks. We've got a bit of a meal plan on there, just some recipes for you to follow at home. And of course, I encourage people to come in and train as much as possible. And yeah, there's going to be a bunch of challenges each week and some prizes at the end. So just started that yesterday. I'm doing it as well. So, you know, before this podcast recording, I just quickly went out for a bit of a walk. I had to get some more movement in. And yeah.
Nice.
So I look forward to keeping up with this 6-week challenge over Instagram.
Oh yeah, you'll see it on the Instagram. Definitely. What's my username? SPT_Stef, I think. Yeah.
We'll make sure to add it in the description.
Yeah. We'll put a link to it in there. Well, Steph, thanks so much for coming on the show today. I think you've got some really important points, and you know, I think you focus on the things that are really important to people's long-term health, not just a short-term fix. So I very much look forward to catching up with SPT in the future and seeing, you know, how much of an impact you get to make on people's lives.
Yeah, thanks so much. I'll give you the update in a couple of months to come.
I'll make sure I come in for a class.
Yeah, you have to, Leroy. Come with Ryan.
I will. All right, Steph, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
See you later.